John Brockman defines the term blue collar. He's the heart and soul of a very good Washington team. And it seems, as John Brockman goes, so go the Huskies. He's aggressive, smart, and the inspiration behind a team that's threatening to win the Pac-10 title. The hometown Stanford Cardinal have upped the tempo this year, thanks to the new direction of Coach Johnny Dawkins. But the Cardinal have got to start winning the close games and look to string together a bunch of victories as we approach tournament time. Washington marches into Stanford. Pac-10 Hoops is next.
And we come to you today from the campus of Stanford University. We're here in Stanford, California at Roscoe Maples Pavilion as we present Pac-10 Conference College Hoops presented by KFC. Today, the Washington Huskies come calling on the hometown Stanford Cardinal. Let's take a look at where we stand in the Pac-10 Conference. UCLA, a game to the good of Washington, but Washington right there and an outstanding team licking its wounds a little bit coming off a Thursday night loss to California. And hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins. You know, my partner, coach, Dan Belwamini. And Dan, John Brockman had an off game in Berkeley on Thursday night. He doesn't often have two bad games in a row, and he's had a couple of days to think about it.
Well, he's had those 2 days to think about it. And don't forget, Brockman only scored 4 points, but did have 15 rebounds against California. And we know Brockman normally comes back strong after a subpar scoring game. He can drive it to the basket. Where he's really effective is down low. And he will rebound the ball and he'll make big plays. Now here's a young man that has not had any subpar games in the Pac-10 Conference. That's Justin Denman. He is scoring outside. He's scoring inside. He's taking it to the goal. He's stealing the ball and really having an all-star year. So they got quite a punch with Denman on the perimeter and Brockman inside.
You know, you and I often talk about outstanding players who somehow manage to stay under the radar, and that, I think, is the case with Lawrence Hill of Stanford.
Well, I think Lawrence Hill really is a young man that leads this Stanford team around the basket. And don't forget, Lawrence Hill against Washington State, Barry, on Thursday, shot the ball 9 times, made 8 of them. So he is really hot. He's effective in the open court. He can shoot the 3, and he's very multi-dimensional.
Well, the simple fact is that this has been a very difficult building for the Washington Huskies to play in. They have to go all the way back to 1993 to remember their last victory here at Maples. A very tough play. Stanford will try to take advantage of that. The Huskies will try to do something about it. And we welcome you back to Maples Pavilion. We're on the campus of Stanford University. It's number 22 Washington against the hometown Stanford Cardinal. Let's take a look at the lineups. First of all, for the visitors from Seattle, it'll be the outstanding freshman Isaiah Thomas with Justin Denman in the backcourt. Quincy Pondexter, who has greatly improved this year. Outstanding rebounder and a very good role player, Darnell Gant, and John Brockman. We talked about Brockman, tough night on Thursday at California. Lorenzo Romar, of course, in his 7th year here, has done a superb job in coaching this Washington Husky team. And this is now not only a good team, this is a good program. Let's talk about the Stanford Cardinal. And they will come with Mitch Johnson and Anthony Goods, 2 seniors in the backcourt. Landry Fields, an improving junior. And the man about whom we spoke in the open, Lawrence Hill, coming off a big night on Thursday. Josh Owens will get the start at the 5 position. And Johnny Dawkins, in his first year, his team has suffered through 3 one-point losses, or things could be very different in the Pac-10 Conference.
Well, they really could. And you look at Stanford and those 3 one-point losses, all of which they could have won. Here's the Suzuki game plan, Barry, for Washington. Offense from Brockman. Brockman had the subpar game against California. He needs to bounce back offensively, and they need some production from their bench. For the Cardinals, let's get on the glass. Let's rebound the ball, and very important for Stanford to make the 3-point shot. They will have some available. They need to get them down. That's our Suzuki game plan, Barry.
Well, you know what? They do get good bench scoring. This is a very deep Washington team, and a team with a lot of role players. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but Vinoy Overton comes off the bench. He gives him a little offensive punch. So too does Matthew Bryan Ammoning. In fact, that's been really, I think, one of the things that has kept the Huskies as high in the Pac-10 standings as they are. Huskies have lost, as we said, 15 times in a row. Last win back in 1993. In fact, they've lost 21 of 22. They bring Brockman on the high post. Now Detman guarded by Goods.
Of course, Stanford man-to-man, and you know that Washington's going to feature Brockman and try to give him the ball and see if he can make a play inside, try to get him going. Good defense by the Cardinal.
Yeah, definitely extending Pondexter out. Now it's Detman on Goods. Tough shot, and he got it to go. That was not easy.
That may not be a great sign for the Cardinal.
Yeah, really.
I mean, in terms of Detman, I thought they defended him extremely well. It looked like he might have been hit. He still made it.
Loose ball goes off the leg of Anthony Goods, and it'll be Washington ball. Look at this.
Well, we featured Detman at the top of the show because he has just been spectacular during the conference season. And again, he made a real difficult shot. Looked like he hit knees as he took that shot in the air, able to get through the contact and get it home. Look at this pass from the point. Good defense that time. Nice play to step in the way by Owens.
Yeah, Owens stepped in front. So a turnover apiece now. There's Anthony Goods. Goods steps in, got right around Brockman, put it up too hard. And Gant with the rebound. And now Thomas, and the Huskies want to push it. Thomas all the way, left hand, a little short. Not a shot he will usually miss. Thomas, in my opinion, right now, the freshman of the year in the Pac-10 Conference.
Well,
I mean, I think he gets overlooked because he's not playing in a glamour spot, but
he has been spectacular. Now, I don't know if you're going to get a lot of argument there, Barry. Right now, I think I have to agree with you. He has just been sensational the whole year, scoring, driving to the goal. Had 51 in a high school championship game, used to scoring, but this is the first year he's played the point. He's normally an off guard. And he's playing the point, directing the team, and doing a good job.
And conversely, Detman, who was the point guard, has now moved over to play the two, and it's helped them both. Mitch Johnson, another guy who has improved throughout his career at Stanford. Good matchup right here, Thomas and Johnson, the freshman and the senior. And Johnson got all the way around and put it up off the window.
Very important for Washington to make sure Mitch Johnson goes right, not left. Did a good job that time. Mitch did to turn the corner. The Pondexter's just, he's been solid all year. Well, he has really grown defensively. He's allowing the game to come to him, and he's doing a terrific defensive job for Washington this year.
This is Owens, worked on by Brockman. Got it back to Landry. Landry, a good job just to hold on to it. Landry puts it up over Pondexter. Landry Fields with a very nice touch. And Pondexter again, 2 in a row from the corner, this one a 3.
Well, one thing about this game, there's no threat of the 35-second shot clock expiring. Both teams, you gotta love it, are playing in the open court. What Johnny Dawkins has brought to the Cardinal. Here's the last pass. And again, you see Thomas get into the lane. This is a difficult shot. I thought well defended, but Pondexter's at that kind of a year makes a fade away from the corner.
I thought Landry Fields jumped at him, but to no avail. Lawrence Hill faces up, won't go. Gant snatches it out of the air. Quick outlet Thomas.
Look at Brockman run the floor too.
Good job by Landry Fields to get back defensively.
I think you bring it to Brockman's side. Pretty good defense by Johnson, just a step in the way. Now finish it. How do you like that?
And now here comes Thomas. Thomas 1-on-3, doesn't bother him. And he'll go to the free throw line.
You think Detman climbed the ladder? I mean, Detman's only 6 feet.
And I'm not sure he doesn't lie about that.
Well, here's the great defense by Mitch Johnson. Watch Detman come from the other side. Well, Now, you cannot pin it on the glass in college basketball once it's on the downward flight. Did that ball hit the glass? It was close.
And Thomas, early on here, can't find it, either from the field or the line. Missed them both. Now Washington has improved greatly as a team free throwing.
Oh, remember last year, they were last among all NCAA Division I teams. They only shot 58% as a team last year. They made marked improvement. Talk about improvement. How about Will Paul?
Yeah, stepped out, knocked it down. He's 6 in a row now.
He hasn't missed a shot in a week. Perfect 5 out of 5 on Thursday night against Washington State.
Denver with that little fall away again, and it climbs right over the front rim and in. Will Paul again. Now Johnson.
Well, Fields is all alone on the other side of the floor. They did not. Now they find him in there. He was wide open twice. Wide open in the corner. Then he's waving his hands, and then he just does the smart thing. Plays without the ball, goes inside and scores.
Pondexter again. Not this time. Rebound Hill. And the Cardinal now have a chance to take a lead. Landry Fields all the way, hammered by Denver. And we'll take a timeout. High-intensity game early on here. 15:23 left, first half, tied at 9. Well, let's take a moment to recognize our U.S. Bank Pac-10 Player of the Week. And you saw the man on the floor. He really has improved greatly since he got stepped on in the game against Houston. And we're talking, of course, about Chase Budinger. 22 points, 9.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists in the 2 wins over the Washington Schools last week. And he didn't stop yesterday. He picked it up at Oregon with 25 points on 8 of 12 field goals and 9 rebounds. Chase Budinger playing like we expected Chase Budinger would.
And it's great to see Chase playing that way. We know he's an all-star player. And you're right, after the Houston game where he was stepped in the face, I mean, he's really picked his game up, and Arizona's making a nice run. I mean, Arizona playing very good basketball, trying to get to the NCAA tournament for the 25th consecutive year.
Landry Fields at the free throw line. Gives the Cardinal the lead. Incidentally, at that last timeout, Stanford in the last 5 games has trailed at the first timeout. It's the first time they've been tied or ahead. Now they take a 1-point lead.
Both teams, traditional primary defense, man-to-man. They're going to come out and pressure.
Benai Overton now in the Washington lineup.
Now they find Brockman, see if they give it to him, and see if Stanford doubles, which they do. The Cardinal are going to double, and Brockman will pass it out of the double. Good job by Will Paul in there. Excellent defensive job on Brockman.
Pondexter in the lane won't go. And how about the follow? Quincy Pondexter. Pondexter was 7 of the Huskies' first 11.
Might be a good idea for the Cardinal to get a body on Pondexter when the shot's in the air. He's really gotten off to a great start.
Well, when they double down on Brockman, it's going to allow him more opportunity, and he's taken advantage of it. He played well against Cal, also had 21 points. Here's Gentman.
Got to be under control.
5-on-1. Wow, 5-on-1. You don't get it down and give it up at the other end. Landry Fields.
Barry, you said the operative word, 5-on-1. It would have been better for Washington to be 4-on-1 and keep a guy back. You didn't need all 5 guys to come down the floor, fly into the glass, trying to rebound the ball in.
Go over the top to Brockman. Brockman couldn't find the handle, but it's going to go off of Will Paul. And they're going to call a foul.
Look at this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 players all the way down. Now we have nobody back. The shot wasn't real bad. You could have some, but there's nobody back there. Somebody has to have the presence of mind to make that trick. Wait. Just wait at half court and see what transpires.
Ready?
See if Stanford zones it up on the out of bounds. Look, they were zoned. Now you get a great look at it. See that 2-3 zone by the Cardinal.
This is Holiday, the ball game for the first time.
Remember, Holiday, a good perimeter player. Detman, a good perimeter player. So you've got to fly to number 5 Detman and 22 Holiday. He's going to definitely look to shoot it if he's got the open shot. Well, look at that pass.
Yeah, it sure was. The extra pass, but the miss by Brian Amidon, and finally, Brockman is fouled. So right now, for the Huskies, it's Benoit Overton, Detman, Holiday, Brockman, and Brian Amidon.
Look at that beautiful interior passing that time by the Huskies. Brian Amidon with a beautiful pass. Holiday with the penetration, vision, gave the ball up. A little surprised Brockman didn't finish. We know the free throw line's been a challenge for John Brockman.
Although lately he's been shooting better.
A little bit better, but his whole career he's had a tough time at the line.
1 out of 2. And we're tied at 12.
Well, you see that rebound graphic. Remember, the Washington Huskies #1 in the Pac-10 Conference in terms of rebounding differential. So they're a powerhouse rebounding team.
Going hard to the basket and foul was Anthony Goods. David Dildy is in the ball game, and much earlier than usual, but obviously he's been practicing well, and so Johnny Dawkins is going to reward him. Drew Schiller on for the Cardinal as well.
Now you get a good look at David Dildy, who's at about 6'4", a very good defender. He's quick and active. Stanford really deep in the backcourt. I mean, we haven't even seen Mann and Green, the 2 freshmen who are about 6'4" apiece, who can also defend and shoot the ball. And we haven't seen Kenny Brown yet.
Great delivery once again from Holiday, and Brockman with the finish. Holiday's another one of those role players, but you know he does a lot of things very well.
I got to tell you though, Barry, it was a great pin by John Brockman at the low block. Any big guy watching, just key on John Brockman, how he gets positioned inside.
And this time the Cardinals throw it away, so 3rd turnover for Stanford. Here's a look at what you're talking about,
Barry,
Dan.
look at the position. Now watch Brockman. Look at against Will, but look at him move his body, and then you're right. Was the pass perfect right on the outside hand, and beautifully executed that time by the Huskies.
Justin Holiday, really considered by many the other Holiday brother. Of course, his younger brother, Giroux, outstanding freshman at UCLA, and a freshman who, incidentally, I believe is really getting better.
Yeah, he really is. He's getting better. That whole UCLA team getting better and better with each game, and they absolutely destroyed Notre Dame. I'm not surprised they beat them, but they absolutely ran them off the court.
They're going to call this foul on Brockman. Good position again by the Cardinal. And Brockman's going to come out.
Yeah, this is a very good defensive set right there. Nice job to establish position and draw that foul.
So early in this ball game, Lorenzo Romar substituting liberally. He has none of his starters. Well, I take that back. Gant, the only starter who's on the floor, he just came back in.
Yeah, remember Dildy has not played a lot, so you can expect him to be a little bit nervous. Got to get his feet underneath and have a little bit of confidence. Would help if he could make a shot. Just didn't get that one in.
Didn't make that one, no. Got a good save that time, and unable to convert it at the horn was Green, but he got the shot up, so they've got a new clock. Josh Owens trying to back down, does, turn around short, and a rebound down to Holiday. And Benoit Overton turned it over. So we'll take a timeout with 11:23 remaining to be played here in the first half. It's a 1-point Husky lead. We're going to look at some of the great freshmen in the Pac-10 when we come back. Huskies lead it by a point. Danny, we've been talking about some of the outstanding freshmen in the Pac-10 Conference, and here's one of them. We saw this guy yesterday, Klay Thompson, another guy that's getting better by the game.
Well, he has got a beautiful shooting rotation with the ball. And how about Isaiah Thomas, another great one. You got Klay Thompson, Isaiah Thomas, and of course Drew Holiday, as you said, Barry, getting better and better and better at UCLA. Drives, scores on the outside. And of course DeMar DeRozan, who is athletic at about 6'6", a good mid-range shooter, a defender, can attack the goal. Those, in our opinion, four of the better freshmen in the Pac-10 conference. Look at Isaiah Thomas's numbers, 16.5 points a game in Pac-10 play. So you know he's gotten off to a slow start today, but he normally recovers. He rarely has a subpar scoring game.
I don't think we've seen him have one. And as I said, I believe of all those talented freshmen, he's probably done more to make the Huskies better than anybody else.
It's interesting, too, that Johnny Dawkins, I think, to combat guys like Isaiah Thomas and Vanoy Overton and Justin Detman, he's gone smaller. I mean, he's got essentially 3 guards in the game right now with only 2 big players.
Owens is short on the turnaround. Gant fighting for the rebound, a battle for the ball, and finally it comes out of there and snatched away by Brian Amity. Good job of the officials, just let the players decide that. Vanoy Overton burns it the other way. And he'll go to the free throw line. Overton, because of the dominance of Thomas and Denton, has been a little bit overlooked also. This guy's a very good defender, and he can score.
You know, it's interesting that you talked to Vanoy Overton, and he said, you ask him, you know, what was your most outstanding moment playing basketball before you got to Washington? He said, well, in the 5th grade, I made a game-winning shot.
Yeah,
that's
right.
the one thing he remembers. He said that was his most exciting moment, obviously before his career here with the Huskies.
That was mine, too. Yeah, he's the only.
Is the only one you made? The 4th grade CYO shot?
Exactly.
St. Emilius?
It was against St. Monica's. And a 3 for Anthony Goods. But who remembers? Great block that time by Goods, and that gets, or rather by Green, and that gets the Cardinal going. Anthony Goods missed it, followed Owens, and one.
Josh Owens, both ends of the court. I mean, he is really working hard, rebounding the ball and doing a nice job inside. I thought this was definitely an easy score, but a great block by Green. Now, Green can really get up. I mean, he's a guy who can play the back court, but he's a jumper and he's active around the glass. And, of course, Anthony Goods made the long-range shot, now back to the foul line.
Goods a good free throw shooter. Low Romar will get Brockman, Pondexter, and Detman back into the ball game. Overton, Brian Ammoning, and Turner leave.
This is one of the quality young men in the Pac-10 Conference, and there's a lot of them. It was Anthony Goods. He's very bright and articulate. Likes to collect shoes like everybody else, like all young guys.
They scored the last 6 Stanford points. Gant with a good look. Couldn't get it to go, though. Fields with the rebound. And a right into the hands of Pondexter, and Pondexter can't get it, and Fields snatches the rebound.
Yeah, Pondexter could have waited for a little bit of help. 1-on-2, 1-on-3. He makes a great steal. Now, I know he's in rhythm, and he's had a good afternoon, but I think might have been better served just to wait a little bit till his teammates come back. How about that pass?
What a pass from Mitch Johnson. Fields gets the finish, but a great pass by Johnson.
On the outside hand. Beautifully done.
That's on the baseline, and Stanford will have it back.
Look at the pass. Watch the pass, Barry, on the outside hand. That is the key. Mitch Johnson in rhythm with the quick bounce pass and a good feed of the post and a nice finish in there by Landry Fields.
Johnson this time behind a screen. Could get Fields with the follow. Who forgot about him? Landry Fields with 11.
Now the double. Boy, they're gonna double team Brockman every time he gets it. So it's critical for the Huskies to move without the ball when Brockman does receive it at the low block.
And that time Brockman couldn't handle it. Stanford on an 8-0 run with the ball. This is Green, spots up. He could shoot it. Didn't get that one. And we're gonna get a push off on Denton. Denman's second foul.
No body on Landry Fields. He had a great running, flying start and beautiful timing to drop it.
And Lo Rumar is going to take a stop the bleeding timeout here. With 8 minutes and 51 seconds remaining in the half, Stanford on a run, leads it by 7. Let's take a look right now at our Motel 6 sixth man of the game, and that is Matthew Bryan Ammoning. And he really has. He's given Lorenzo Romar a real lift off the bench all season long.
He's been really effective and a nice guy to come in here, rebound the ball. He scores around the goal. Very unselfish player.
Motel 6, proud sponsor of the Pac-10 Conference. We'll leave the light on for you. Young fans here at Stanford, very nice house. Maples Pavilion on this Sunday afternoon.
I don't see a whole lot of empty seats here this afternoon.
No.
It's a big crowd. Well, Stanford plays an exciting brand of basketball.
Denman got a hand on that inbounds pass, but dribbled out of bounds. Cardinal will keep possession. Dogs have now gone 4 minutes without a field goal, and they trail by 7. Stanford's taken the play completely away. Green with a good look.
Jeremy Green, first time I saw him, Barry, I really liked the way he played. He's out of Austin, Texas, highly recruited. A lot of people wanted him. Stanford did a great job to get him. And he is a type of player who can shoot the jumper. He's got to work hard on his defense, but he's quick and active. Heir apparent to Goods when Goods leaves this year, and I think will be a big star here at Stanford.
I think he'll be a big scorer in the Pac-10 Conference. This time, though, he's guilty of a foul on Pondexter. Lawrence Hill going to come back into the ball game. And there's Roscoe Pondexter, Quincy Pondexter's father, and not a bad player himself.
No, and of course, his uncle and Roscoe's brother, Clifton Pondexter, was a terrific player in that great Long Beach State team that went 24-2 back in the early 70s with Bobby Gross, Leonard Gray, Glenn McDonald, Clifton, and Roscoe Pondexter. That was a pretty good team.
Not bad. Coached by
Lute Olson.
That's right. Bernard Overton rejected by Landry Fields. Overton wants a foul, not going to get it. It looked like a clean block to me.
Again, I think Fields doing it at both ends of the floor here. Good penetration, but look at Landry come over for the help. And the other thing that the Cardinal doing a good job is rotating their defense when someone leaves to block a shot.
That time a good idea off the inbounds, but Pondexter just couldn't finish it.
Well, the Huskies need a few stops here.
Lawrence Hill, he can make this. And the rebound down to Gant. 5 minutes now without a field goal for Washington. That time Thomas got in the air, double clutch, had no place to go with it. Pondexter off the window.
Well, it looked like he was bumped inside, but no call. And Washington needed that. Pondexter has kept the Huskies in the game all by himself. He's got 11 so far in the first half.
You can see the shooting percentages, and the Huskies below 40%. That time Johnson tried to get it back to Will. Paul could do it. 4 on 3 now on the wing. Here comes Thomas. And 1. Thomas, great body control. And oftentimes he will make that play.
That right there typifies the Huskies. They steal it, get it in the open court. Look at this finish by Thomas. Strong and effective to the glass.
Stanford leads by 4, but now it's the Huskies on a 6-0 run after Stanford had run off 12 in a row. We've been talking about what great backcourts there are in the Pac-10 this year. Of course, at UCLA, Drew Holiday and Darren Collison, not bad at all. And Derek Glasser is on the shelf now with that concussion, along with Harden. Thomas and Denman right here, not bad.
No, not bad at all. They've had really a spectacular year, and you look at Jerome Randall and Patrick Christopher, certainly they played well last night in their win. And then, of course, Hackett and Lewis. I mean, that's a solid backcourt at USC. So there's a whole lot of backcourts that have played really well. You can make a case here at Stanford. Also, Anthony Goods has had a really good year for him. And, of course, Mitch Johnson, very solid in the backcourt himself.
Absolutely. It's been a backcourt-dominated conference in the Pac this year. Thomas cannot convert the three-point play. He's 0 for 3 at the line. So it remains a 4-point ball game. Goods, nice lead block from behind by Gant.
Great block by Gant coming from the other side. Look at that. Can you believe that play by Isaiah Thomas? A little flipper. He goes all the way, threw it over his head, and made it. How do you like that one?
Flashing baseline. And now an 8-0 run following the 12-0 run by Stanford. That breaks it. Mitch Johnson's jumper.
One thing about the Cardinals, when they run those high post screens and Mitch Johnson comes off the screen, you'd better address it right away. If you give him room and daylight, he's going to make you pay.
Pondexter double clutches, comes up short, follows it in. Pondexter playing big. 13 for Quincy.
I think you're probably going to go right back into the Cardinal, the high post screens. And that was very, very effective for him. Last time Mitch Johnson turned the corner and scored. This time he penetrates and gives it up.
Andrew Fields over Pondexter. So Pondexter and Fields having quite a go, each with 13.
And they're guarding each other.
That's what I was going to say. Playing head up.
Maybe they're saying, okay, now it's my turn.
Fields hasn't missed a shot. He's 6 of 6. Overton tried to go over the top to Brockman a little bit too much. Now watch this by Thomas, all the way under.
Yeah, look at this, and this is the body control. You know, there was a player here a few years ago that kind of reminds you of Isaiah Thomas. Who was that, Barry?
Brevin Knight, maybe?
No, played at Washington.
There you are. Oh, Brevin Knight played here, and I thought he reminds me of Thomas too, to tell you the truth. He had those kind of quicks.
He did. If you look at him, of course, Brevin Knight was a great player here at Stanford, played in the early 90s, but quick and active, and you're right about that. He definitely reminds you of Isaiah Thomas. Great steal.
And here's a steal and a score by Overton.
Now, the player I'm thinking about is Nate the Great Robinson.
Good player.
Remember, Nate played here at UW, and very strong at about 5'8", 5'9", and Isaiah has some Nate Robinson in him. There's no question about it.
He does. I will say this, and it's just one man's opinion. Here's Thomas ahead of the pack again, and Thomas this time a little hard follow. Brian Amending, no. But I think Thomas plays more in control than Nate Robinson did, to tell you the truth. And Johnny Dawkins wants to talk it over.
All I know is every time I saw Nate at 25, he's doing it for the Knicks.
Well, that's true.
I thought he was too small to play in the NBA. Forget that.
Well,
here's the steal. Look at this. Let's take it all the way in if you're Vinoy Overton. And, that's a pretty good dunk for a guy that's about 5'11" to take it in and finish it.
Well, we want to remind you, college basketball doesn't end here. Our doubleheader will continue after this game. Sunday night ACC hoops presented by Pizza Hut. It'll be the Maryland Terrapins and Georgia Tech. Coverage beginning after our game in high definition. I remember Robinson jumping over Channing Frye in a game you and I did up in Seattle. Channing Frye went, what, 6'10", 6'11"?
Yeah, Channing, a very good
Robinson
player.
jumped over him.
Nate did some spectacular things in the open court.
Now here's a couple of items I think interesting. One is that Stanford just recorded its 9th turnover, gave up its 9th turnover, I should say, and when they give up more turnovers than their opponent, they lose. They are 0-6 when they've had more turnovers than their opponent, 14-0 when their opponent has more than they do, and that is number 10 right there. Now the other side of the coin is John Brockman.
Well, we thought Brockman would bounce back in terms of his scoring. He had a subpar scoring game against California on Thursday night. No field goals and 4 points. He's only had one shot in 13 minutes. Now, he's made that one shot. I'll say this, he's been well defended inside. Here's another look. Looks like a zone by the Cardinal. They're going to switch the defense.
Here's Brockman.
Well, he's 2 out of 2.
Yeah.
Right on cue.
And we're tied at 29. This has been a very up-tempo game. I don't mean necessarily just running up and down the floor. I just mean the way it's played, the level it's played at. And there is the 11th turnover.
Watch the way Brockman, Barry, you get a chance when you look at John Brockman play. Look at him, you try to isolate him. He does a beautiful job maneuvering his body in the right spot. and then the delivery. They got Brockman out of the game right now. Now the zone. So really, the zone may benefit Washington right now. They may have a few more perimeter shooters on the floor with Brockman out. Don't forget Holiday way in the corner. He's all the way over here. He's a guy that can make the three if they can find Holiday.
Stanford not giving him much from the perimeter.
There's Holiday if they can throw. He's a very good passer.
Got it into Brian Ammoning, and Ammoning couldn't finish. Good job by Mitch Johnson trying to draw the foul on Brian Ammoning. And then has it swatted away from behind, and it is going to be, I believe it's Stanford ball, but Stanford has turned it over 4 times in a row. We're coming back. So do you want to know how tough and how complete a player John Brockman is? Ask his coach.
He had signed with us in high school. He was going to be coming to Washington the next year, and we were up in the concourse, and I was dribbling a basketball, and the ball bounced off my foot, and it was about to come inside the gym and go down the stairs, and John just reacted. His first reaction was, dive! And he expected me to really dive. That's what he would have done, and he only thinks one way. That's all out.
And if you watch him, that is exactly the way he plays. I'll tell you, you and I have over the years gotten to know him pretty well. Love talking to this guy. I mean, he's just, you know, that's what I think everybody wants their kid to play like.
Yeah, really. And you saw that 52 career double-doubles, leads the nation. And you're right, John's a quality young man, and you know he's going to give you 110% effort every time out. When Spencer Hawes signed with Washington the year later, one of the big reasons that he signed was because Brockman was already in the fold. He wanted to play with John. That's right. And Washington's done a great job of keeping the local products home. I mean, they got Abdul Gaddy, who's coming in next year, a 6'3" point guard. They're going to have another great guard, by the way, next year. So they've done a terrific job. And Isaiah Thomas, they've so many local players from the Seattle area. Now, you can't get them all, but certainly Lorenzo Romar and his staff has gotten their fair share.
I'll say they have. Thomas missed that shot, but Stanford, remember, they had that 12-0 run that gave them a 10-point lead. Since that time, it's 14-4 for the Huskies, and that's resulted in a tie. Again, a nice pass by Holiday.
Yeah, Holiday's got a great feel for the game, and I thought a good decision by Pondexter not to force it.
Brockman, tough shot that time from behind the basket. Mitch Johnson clears for the Cardinal.
I think if you're Stanford, you'll give Brockman that shot. You know, if he makes it, congratulate him. You don't want him near the goal.
Beautiful lob. Pick and roll. It sure was, all but the finish. Well executed, just not finished. Overton the other way. Splits the defense and takes it all the way to the 10.
Washington does not drop at all when Vinoy Overton's in the game.
No.
He's a starter that's coming off the bench. That's how good Vinoy Overton is. I mean, that was a terrific move through traffic.
Green, standing 3.
Wow. How do you like Jeremy Green? He's really gotten into the flow. I don't think Pondexter thought he'd shoot it. He said, well, you're going to give me a little room? Okay, I'm going to take it. Oh, look at the fight inside. Liz Green again. Yeah. Hard to throw it over.
Well, you said it earlier. As a jumper, we're going to get a foul this time, and I think they're going to get Green on this foul. Coming up at halftime on a Final Score studio, they'll recap the first half of this game and tell you what's going on. A couple of big games in the NBA today that I'm sure they'll be talking about. And this has been a game worth talking about as well. That's all coming up at the half. So it'll put Thomas at the free throw line where he has struggled today. 0 for 3.
Not normal for Isaiah Thomas to struggle at the line. I mean, he's not a great free throw shooter, but he is 72%. So you look at the points and the assists, but he can put them up in a hurry. All of a sudden, you think, well, we're containing him. He's got 5-6 points, and then you look up again, he's got 17.
Now, that's exactly the way he is. Remember the last time we saw him, he just was kind of invisible, and then all of a sudden he had 24 points.
Goods is such a key for the Cardinal, and he's proactive going to the goal. Stanford needs backcourt production to be successful. They have a bevy of guards, but they need a guy like Goods, a senior. He has to look for his shot, and he has to be the man that scores. And Johnny Dawkins has really done a terrific job with the Stanford Cardinal. Don't forget, they started 10-0, Barry. They won their first 10 games, lost. Quite surprising. Not that it was surprising they lost to Arizona State when the Sun Devils came in there in their first loss, but Arizona State played their best game of the year and beat them by 25 or 30.
We've had 9 lead changes in this ball game, and now Stanford goes back in front.
Cannot emphasize enough those 3 one-point losses that the Cardinal have suffered.
Huge.
Have been really huge. Washington State on the road, and USC, where Hill's shot was in and out, would have made a big difference, obviously, to the Stanford team.
That time Brockman was trying to back Owens down, and he backed him down so far that the pass was out of his reach. 8th turnover for the Huskies. Most of these turnovers have been forced. They haven't been those fluky kinds of just bobble a ball turnovers.
Trying to free up Goods, set a screen for him, and see if he can make a play.
Well, this time he just falls away. A little bit short with it. Brockman gets it off the hands of Owens.
I like the quick shot, though. It's a 2-for-1. I thought that was a good shot by Stanford. They should get another possession here by taking that shot with about 40 seconds to play in the first half. I like that concept. See if you can get a 2-for-1 if you can take a quick one. See if it benefits the Cardinal.
Well, Overton's going to back it out now. 13 on the shot clock. About a 4-second difference, game clock, shot clock. Overton leaves from Brockman. Great pass, and Brockman will go to the line.
Super pass and a wonderful catch. I mean, here again, but Vinoy Overton and Quincy Pondexter really helped Washington in his first half, because some of their other prime players have not come up big.
As Brockman gets the first free throw, and ties the ball game again.
Pondexter wears number 40 because his sister Kristen wore 40 when she played at UW. That's why he selected number 40. Not surprising with John Brockman.
And the first half will come to an end. We had 10 lead changes in that first half. And at the intermission, the Stanford Cardinal and the Washington Huskies in a battle here with the Dogs on top, 35-34. Coming up on our halftime report, we'll have scores and highlights from our Final Score studio. That's all coming up after this. Halftime here at Maples Pavilion, where the Washington Huskies lead the hometown Cardinal by a point. It's a 35-34 ball game. Barry Tompkins, the coach, Dan Belwamini alongside, and what Washington's trying to do is jam it in on Stanford. They've scored 20 of their points down low and missed 5 shots on top of that.
Well, I think that's the game plan for Lorenzo Romar. Let's get it down low. Let's do some damage. The Cardinal has to rely a little bit more on perimeter shooting. Take a look at those stats, Barry, and you see right there, points in the paint. That's really key for the Huskies, 20. The Cardinal, they've made 4 3-point goals, so really important for Stanford to keep that 3-point efficiency up.
Yeah, I think we've had, as you saw, 9 ties, 10 lead changes in this game. There's still 20 minutes of basketball left, and again, this is a game that is very much up for grabs. Taking care of the basketball might be a key. Both teams turned it over in the first half. Well, let's take a look at our Suzuki game plan, and we talked about that Washington needed offensive production from Brockman, and they did get a little bit in the first half. He scored 7 points. Production from the bench, they got 5 off the bench. And we talked about the rebound margin that Stanford had to stay in the hunt. They are doing that. So all of our Suzuki game plan really holding true.
Yeah, well, of course, Washington would like to get a little bit more production out of John Brockman. They'd like to see him get more points, but Stanford's doing a great job defending him. And I think if you're the Cardinal, here's the one message that Johnny Dawkins sends his team. Hey, guys, we cannot turn it over 11 times in the second half like we did in the first half and expect to win this game. We have to take care of the basketball a little bit better, much better than we did in the first half.
So Stanford will have the first possession of the second half. A little bit of a different game than the one they played up in Seattle. At the half of that game, Stanford was in front by 2, but it was 49-47. Lawrence Hill has been quiet in this game. Mitch Johnson leaves for Landry Fields. Johnson. Brockman yanks the rebound down. Again, great position by John Brockman.
He can do it at both ends of the floor. I mean, he's a master at establishing position, either blocking out or at the offensive end, doing a good job to receive it down low. What a screen he just set on Anthony Goods.
Dan tried to drop it down to Brockman, but Owens kicked it out of bounds. No reset of the shot clock, so there'll be 18 seconds.
Well, they love to start Detman low, bring him to the ball, and then post up Brockman. See what he can do. Now, they're not doubling him here, so Brockman will probably shoot it.
Well, they came with the double late. Now Pondex with Thomas for 3. Won't go. Can't get the follow. And now Mitch Johnson gets it out for Stanford. Johnson to Owens behind everybody, couldn't quite finish it. Right idea. Thomas comes the other way, slices between 2 defenders and scores.
What? That's why, that typifies Isaiah Thomas. That's why he's a great player. He is about 5'9", 5'10", but he can do damage inside. I mean, he's acrobatic going to the goal, and he finishes shots. This guy's, he's big time, Isaiah Thomas.
Lawrence Hill cut off by Brockman.
Nope,
Detman steps in front, and Detman going to take this one over Goods. And another Stanford turn.
You cannot turn the ball over. The intensity level is good for both teams, but the Cardinal, they've got to do a better job taking care of the basketball. Otherwise, Washington's going to run away from them.
Going to foul reaching in on Detman, I believe. Watch this shot by Thomas.
Well, and you don't forget he's left-handed, Barry, and you see him going right, then reversing it back with his left hand to get it down. So a great job by Isaiah Thomas. He just has that knack of reading the defense, either pulling up or taking it all the way to the goal. Now, it's been a tough afternoon for Lawrence Hill.
Well, it really has, and this is going to be out of bounds to Stanford.
Remember, Lawrence, an all-conference performer as a sophomore, I thought got caught in between when the Lopez twins were here. Does he play inside? Does he play outside? Had, quite frankly, a subpar year last year, but he's come back strong this year and having a big year.
And they're going to grab fouls, some early fouls from the Washington Huskies. Right now, the Huskies have indeed taken the Stanford crowd out of this game. Cardinals need a couple of unanswered. Don't get one there, and Brockman again. Hands everywhere in his face, on his shoulders.
You think Brockman, Barry, has great hands and body control in the air. You know, he goes up and people bump him. You get a great look at it here. Look at Brockman. They're kind of hitting him and moving him, but he, you know, rarely loses the ball. Got to be careful because Detman and Thomas, they were quiet in the first half.
Yeah.
Look out because now they got it going.
Well, you know, didn't we say that about Thomas? Last time we saw him against UCLA, quiet in the first half. All of a sudden, he's got 24. He's got 11 right now, oh, by the way, including the last 5.
In college basketball, if you have great guard production, I mean, you're going to win a lot of games. And this Washington team has 3 tremendous guards. That's why they're so successful and a strong rebounding club. And here's Isaiah Thomas moving to the ball, very active. Now he's in rhythm, and they're going to look for him.
Detman has just picked up his 4th foul, so he's going to be on the bench now for a long time. And again, that brings about the presence of Vinoy Overton. Boy, a lot of fouls here to start the second half.
Yeah, Detman has to be really, you know, he's disappointed in himself for picking up all the fouls. But from a team standpoint, And I know Lorenzo Romo, I'd love to have Detman in the game, but you don't drop a whole lot when Vanoy Overton's in there.
Hills with a drive from behind. Gant got him, but he also got him with the body. That's going to be the 5th team foul on the Huskies, and we're just getting started here.
Now watch the screen that time, and that time Lawrence Hill decided not to accept the screen and take it the other way. And Brian Amity, I thought, lost a little vision, but a good move by Hill, and that's what you like to see Lawrence Hill do. Look at the numbers. 0 points, 1 rebound. Now again, 0 points, missed a free throw. If you can't score from outside, rebound the ball, get it off the glass, score around the basket, and see if you can build a little bit of confidence.
Well, Hill's troubles continue. Brockman yanks down another rebound. So real opportunity here now for the Huskies to extend. They're on a 9-0 run going back to the end of the first half, and they lead now by 8.
And look out, because they're going to try to free up maybe their outside guys, or try to find Brockman, who's playing really well without the ball.
Pondexter in the lane, he'll go to the free throw line.
Remember, Barry, a very telling graphic in the first half. How many points did Washington have in the paint? 20.
Right.
And so Lorenzo Romo argued that's computed in the brain there, and when he gets to halftime, he said, hey guys, we are dominating the ball inside. Let's continue to get it in and attack in to out. Eventually they're going to sag down. It'll open up some three-point shooting, but focus on putting the ball down on the block.
Well, now a 10-0 run for the Washington Huskies, and they now have their biggest lead of the game, and that extends even more now. So a 10-point Husky lead here on a spurt to start the second half.
I think if you're Stanford, try to free up Goods, run guys along the baseline. They're going to have to make those kind of shots, and good to see Lawrence Hill get a goal.
Yeah,
I mean, they can't win this game, the Cardinal, if Lawrence Hill, he goes for an offer. He's got to go ahead and give this team a big second half.
Thomas thought about taking that to the basket. Now back it out. Vanoy Overton, little pump fake. Leaves it for Brockman. He faces up and scores. And that's very much within Brockman's range. Brockman now with 9. Good pass, and Landry Fields cannot convert. Pass was from Will Paul.
Look at Brockman down low.
I saw him.
You see Brockman right there. He is trying to establish position and do a good job.
They may get him here, yeah. And I think that's a good call. So Brockman called that time as he got a little too aggressive with Will Paul, but he made the last one, and his team leads by 10. We're coming back. Ten-point lead for the Washington Huskies, and they have been on a roll since late in the first half. Let's take a look at our Best Buy Best Connection. There are a few of them, actually. The passing of the Washington Huskies. Holiday making that pass. Vanoy Overton here. Then Thomas with the finish, and then Overton again down low to Brockman. Collectively, our Best Buy Best Connection. When we talk about the Huskies being on a roll, Stanford led 25-15, about 2/3 of the way through the first half. Since that time, the Huskies are on a 31-11 run.
The other thing that's really changed dramatically for Washington. Remember when they lost the game Thursday night to California? You know how many assists they had totally in the whole game? In the whole game, they only had 6 assists in the game for Washington. So really important for this team to share the ball. They're doing it a much better job this afternoon. They've got 7 assists in this game and doing a much more effective job passing the basketball.
Here's Hill. Brian Ammoning working on him. Hill with the left hand. Can't get the roll. That's a shot he will make most of the time. Brockman goes down hard.
Hey, who's got the towel?
And Green is going to come back into the Stanford lineup. Jeremy Green, who had a couple of threes in the first half. And Goods comes out.
Got to be careful on the out of bounds now. They're going to try to run maybe Green who's right here, try to run him off a screen if they can, and they run him to the ball.
There he is.
He just didn't have the opening, but Stanford loves to try to set up that three-point goal right off of the out of bounds.
Mitch Johnson, cross court for Green, dangerous pass. Green drops it down. Landry Fields, turnaround.
It's been a challenge for the Cardinal all year. Back to the basket, scoring. When they get it, they are really effective, because you can't win all the time relying on the perimeter game. Good defense there. Good job by Will Paul to get over on the angle and knock it out of bounds.
Well, you talked about back to the basket scoring, and here it is. And that's Landry Fields posting Pondexter up and scoring over.
And our favorite shot in the low post is what, Barry?
Jump hook.
You gotta love the jump hook. I cannot emphasize how important of a shot that is, because it's very difficult to block, and little guys can get it over big guys on the jump hook.
Thomas almost got that one down too. He double clutched in the air, still almost made the shot.
Now look at Hill, kind of a solo that time, didn't get it down. Look at Landry Fields around the glass.
Tried to leave it for Will Paul, dropped it down around his ankles. Here come the Huskies. They got numbers again, 4-on-2. Overton in the middle, and it's Overton all the way.
What a beautiful effort that time by Vanoy Overton.
Overton just coming up big. He's got 7 points. He's got 5 assists. He's got 4 steals. Filling the stat sheet tonight.
You know that thing about Overton, Barry, he's a decision maker in the open court. I mean, he does a great job of being under control and taking what the defense will give him. Here he comes again. They're going to start him low and try to bring him to the ball.
Brockman defended by the smaller Hill. Leaves it for Brian Ammoning, and Ammoning with the jump hook missed it. Brian Ammoning has been struggling on the offensive end the last few games.
He has had 3 or 4 point-blank shots, not able to get him down.
Mitch Johnson over Brian Ammoning, and a rebound down to Thomas.
Got to stop the ball here. Cannot allow that penetration.
Thomas that time tried to deal to Brian Ammoning, and it's going to go off the Cardinal. It'll be Washington ball. Watch again on the fast break. Overton in the middle.
And this is Overton on the penetration. He's going to get right into the middle and do a great job. Look at this with the ball fake, and does a nice job on the 3-on-2 to make that decision to score. Guard play, guard play. The Huskies have it.
They sure do, and they lead it by 10. We're coming back. Well, the Huskies lead it by 10 with 13:34 remaining to be played. Kenny Brown has come into the Stanford lineup, and he is the subject of our World Financial Group Dreams Realized. He has had a senior day last year. He's going to be the only guy in Stanford history to have 2 senior days. One going to come back and play because he'd been accepted to Den School. Decided when Johnny Dawkins prevailed upon him, okay, I'll come back, play another year. He'll go to Den School next year, plays the piano. His dad, of course, Ken Sr., is his role model, and there he is right there, Kenny Brown, and he can score.
Yes, Kenny Brown can be electrifying from the outside, and don't forget, he can be an energizer. He can come into the game and make the open shot when it's available.
I want to remind you that World Financial Group, your dreams, our strategies. Pondexter to win, or the Holiday to inbound for the Huskies.
Well, you know Stanford's going to zone right out of the out of bounds. They're a 2-3 zone. Now you got to really be alert for this young man with the ball right here, Isaiah Thomas.
Comes behind a Brian Ammoning screen. Leaves it for Overton, who's open. All but the finish. Good decision making, though, I thought, by Thomas.
He doesn't force it. Doesn't. The thing about Isaiah Thomas, he allows the game to flow to him. Tries to score in the open court.
Lawrence Hill gives it up to Jeremy Green, comes baseline, and has it rejected, and how, by Brian Ammoning.
Well, Ammoning had a pretty good run and fly and start at that one. Well, you'd love to see Ammoning try to keep that one in play instead of knocking it out of bounds, but really didn't have much of a choice there.
Been a real dry spell for the Stanford Cardinal offensively.
Yeah, Stanford only 5 baskets in the last 15 minutes. And let's give the Huskies credit. Obviously well defended, but Stanford's missed some open shots, and that might go the other way. Another good defensive effort.
Well, both these coaches really emphasize defense. And Washington playing
Look at Overton.
Very intense defense.
Look, yeah, what else can Overton do? You know, he, again, doesn't start, comes off the bench, and, you know, you get a real lift when your teammate makes a play like that. Gives your club another possession here.
14 turnovers.
There's another pretty good pass from
And
the
we're gonna
outside.
get a foul on Will Paul. The grab on Brockman. Paul's third. Tough matchup for Will Paul.
I think Washington loves to get that formation where you get a dribbler coming off at the high post, and then let's see if we can dump it down to Brockman inside. Again, the zone. On the out of bounds, they go zone, and the Huskies recognize.
This is Elston Turner. Turner going to get that back. Turner can score in a hurry, too. Just a freshman. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Brockman lines it up. Brian Ammoning to follow. Great position down on the block by the man from London, England.
And Brian has really improved dramatically also from last year. I mean, he is a force inside at both ends of the floor.
Kenny Brown from the corner. Kenny Brown can light it up in a big hurry.
How about
when he
the
makes
pass?
his first, he generally will make more than one.
Yeah, good pass, though. Looked like Fields found him in the open court. That's what Kenny Brown can do.
Brian Ammoning again. Maybe getting that touch back. He might have heard me.
I think he did. All of a sudden, two quick ones.
I'll tell you what, the Washington guards really hound you defensively.
It is hard to steal the ball from him. I'll tell you that. If you press it, it's tough to steal it.
Will Paul, the turnaround. Brian Ammoning yanks down that rebound, giving Lorenzo Omar some very good minutes. Here's Brockman, forget it.
Might be a timeout here, I think, by Johnny Dawkins. Although he's going to get a timeout at the next dead ball, so he may wait.
Can't wait too long. 13-point ball game. Pondexter knocks it, or the Holiday knocks it out of bounds, and now Johnny Dawkins will get his timeout. This is a TV timeout, so he'll save one of his own. Here's that last basket. Nice pass by Overton and an easy finish by Brockman. Huskies by 13. Welcome back. Now it's the Dogs by 13 with 11 minutes, 10 seconds remaining to be played. And Stanford's going to have to find something. There's an old friend and a great football player. Jim Plunkett won the Heisman Trophy while the quarterback here at Stanford won the Super Bowl as a quarterback with the Oakland Raiders. Why isn't Jim Plunkett in the Hall of Fame?
Jim Plunkett should be in the Hall of Fame, Barry. Let's start a little campaign, but you shouldn't have to. I mean, he's had quite a career. And maybe you've got a little influence. Maybe you make a phone call.
I've got influence. Think the world of Plunk, though. Very loyal Stanford supporters at all the ball games. From the corner, Anthony Goods won't go.
Well, you just get the feel right now that Washington dictate the tempo. They're in no rush. They can run their offense. Well, that was just beautifully executed there. I mean, can you execute the half-court offense any better than that?
And since trailing Stanford by 10, that was back at 25-15, UW has run off 41-16, and they are now in control of this game.
I mean, you saw that graphic. They are shooting. The Huskies are they're at 64%. Well, you know why they're shooting 64%? Because they're getting great shots, either right around the goal or wide open from 10 feet and in. They haven't had to make any threes.
Jeremy Green with that last basket for Stanford. There's another great pass, only Brian Ammoning cannot convert this one. They are just finding the open man. You got to give a lot of that credit to Benoit Overton, who's playing more minutes than normal because of the foul trouble of Justin Dentman. Green for three. There's your freshman. Green has 11.
Yeah, he's giving the Cardinal a big lift. Green trying to take the challenge, and Stanford needs someone to step up and make some goals.
Overton, open three. And Goods with a rebound. Now Stanford making a little bit of a run here. It's not over yet.
I think Hill wants the ball and see if he can make something happen. He's calling for the ball.
1-on-1 situation now for Lawrence Hill. He can't get it. And he gets the long rebound, though.
Now, Brockman's done a good job on Josh Owens. And Owens, now see, Owens can do that. He has got to get more proactive when he does have the ball.
Stanford 7 quick points now to get themselves right back in the fray. It's an 8-point game.
I think Lorenzo Roma are going to talk it over. Try to set up a play on the timeout. Barry, what's going on with women's hoop in the Pac-10 Conference?
Well, probably the game of the year is coming up next week. You're going to be able to watch it on most of these same stations. Our old pal Jim Watson, Mary Murphy are going to be there to tell you all about it. 2 outstanding teams and a couple of outstanding players that you're looking at here. Cal and Stanford, over and above the tradition of these 2 schools, it has become now the game in women's basketball in the Pac-10 Conference. They're number 1 and 2 in the Pac-10. California won the last outing at Berkeley. Stanford's going to be hungry this time.
California undefeated at Stanford with the only loss. So that should be a terrific game coming up.
2 really good teams. 56-48 ball game. Just when it looked like Washington was about to put their foot on the throat of the Stanford Cardinal. The Cardinal have come back with 7 unanswered.
Yeah, and I think a good timeout by Lorenzo Roma. I think just to regroup his team. I think he senses the comeback. So this is a big possession. Now normally you've got 29 left on the 35. You're going to run some motion, either Isaiah Thomas. Well, I don't know if they diagrammed that one. Well,
I don't think they did. Elston Turner with the shot. And an offensive rebound back into the hands of Pondexter, and he's fouled on the way back up. So they'll try to salvage something out of this. I'm not sure that's the shot that Lorenzo Roma was looking for.
I'll tell you this though, Barry. I thought Elston Turner shot with confidence when he came off that screen.
He did.
I mean, he shot it like it was going down. It wasn't in and outer. But again, second efforts. That's the game of the Huskies. Perimeter play with their backcourt. And they're a terrific rebounding team at both ends.
And Pondexter gets them both. Pondexter now with 17. Coming off a 21-point effort at Berkeley on Thursday night, albeit in a losing effort. Anthony Goods leads nicely to Landry Fields, who finishes big time.
Now you got to get back if you're the Cardinals, because Washington will take it out quick and come right back at you.
Thomas gets into the paint, double clutches, scores.
Did you see that one? You cannot, it's easier said than done, but you cannot allow that kind of penetration. He will make a play.
Thomas now has 13 in the ball game after being very quiet early. Anthony Goods. Well, the intensity level is picked up here. That time Pondexter wasn't looking for the ball.
I think Pondexter was trying to establish position. You're right, didn't find the ball that time. And Stanford with an opportunity. Green again.
Steps in, not this time. And Turner gets it out of there for the Huskies. Huskies lead it by 8.
I think that pick and roll that they ran a couple of sequences ago, remember when they got Brockman involved, was very effective for the Huskies. Isaiah Thomas and John Brockman, when they work together, here they go again, top of the key. I like this play if you're a Washington fan. Something good happens.
Yep, they get Paul on the foul, bumping Thomas, and that's going to be the 4th foul on Will Paul. Watch the basket by Thomas. Great body control. He double clutches. Landry Fields has his hands all over him, and he still makes it. Dogs lead it by 8, 7-11 remaining in the ball game. How good is Isaiah Thomas, Coach?
Well, he is very, very good, and he's got the whole package. He can score on the outside. He drives it to the goal. And in traffic, when he gets up in the air, he can double clutch it, Barry, and find a way not only to get it up, but to make it. And pretty good at drawing fouls and very active in the open court. First year he's ever played the point. High school, 51 points in a big game, a championship game. So he's used to being at the forefront and wants the ball in the clutch. And you see his numbers. And you made a pretty good point earlier. He only had a couple of points, didn't have a big first half. But seems like when you end the game, Isaiah Thomas always has around 20, and he's got 13 in the game right now.
Another one of those guys, too, who you look at his free throw percentage, you say it's okay, it's in the 70s, but at the end of the game, he never seems to miss it. Gets both of those, stretches his team's lead back to 10. Gant will leave. Benoit Overton will come back.
And the other big plus for Lorenzo Romar, Justin Dentman, who is arguably their top scorer. I mean, he's a guy that averages about 19 a game in the conference, 4 fouls. He's only played 11 minutes.
Well, that time Overton fell down, and Goods just took it all the way to the rack.
So the Huskies have been able to maintain the lead with Dentman on the bench. I suspect he'll be back in the last 5 minutes. Got to get a stop here if you're the Cardinal. Got to really gear it up, keep the ball in front of you, and force a perimeter shot. Nothing inside. That's the mentality for Stanford.
Now it's Thomas back outside. Thomas behind a Brockman screen. Got 6 on the shot clock. Overton drives on Green, puts it up in traffic. Very good defensive set for the Cardinal. And a great save by Landry Fields.
Wonderful sense of the game, Landry Fields. Wants to coach, Barry. Wants to be a basketball coach, and he has made so much improvement.
Will Paul. Oh, and went down and came out. Tough break for Paul. Isaiah Thomas coming the other way. Pondexter lost the handle. Holiday picks it up. And this time throws it away. Now it's Mitch Johnson with Isaiah Thomas. And Thomas fouled and he'll go to the line.
Stanford has turned it up defensively.
No question.
And here Mitch Johnson in the open court. Now he had trailers coming, and that's really important for his teammates to try to tell him, I'm behind you, because at that time he might have been able to give it up to a trailer for an easy score, but Mitch Johnson will get to the foul line now. 2 big free throws needed by the Cardinal.
See the numbers on Mitch Johnson. And he misses. It's getting to that point where every missed free throw is costly. And now Justin Dentman is going to come back into the game. Isaiah Thomas is going to leave, and they're going to get Gant back in the ball game as well. And Pondexter will come out.
It's a big reason for the success of the Huskies. They're bench play. I mean, they got guys coming off the bench that really contribute.
One out of 2 for Mitch Johnson, and it's a 7-point ball game.
Whenever Washington needs a score, it's Brockman inside. And Owen's doing a pretty good job, but I think Brockman's going to have to make himself available.
Great defensive play again, and the Cardinal will control it. Holiday had no chance on that shot.
And Mitch Johnson's going to come get the ball. They need a solid set.
Well, Landry Fields with a great look, and he scores.
There, he has gotten stronger. He's gotten more effective with the basketball. He is shooting it from the outside. What a game for Landry Fields.
He's got 19 points, and that equals his career high.
Look at Fields playing without the ball. Now the crowd's alive.
Well, they should be. This is a ball game. It's a 5-point game now. Gant open, and he scores, and that's not a shot, I don't believe, that Lorenzo Romar and his staff are very comfortable with, but he makes it count.
I think Gant was wide open for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't think Lawrence Hill was very close to him, but give Gant credit to knock it down. It might get a foul on Holiday here, who's defending a little too overzealously, so a good job by Landry Fields to accept the foul.
You can see the foul, and there was a little bit of pushing going on both sides.
Yeah, I think Landry Field also may have been pushing a bit. Well, the impressive statistic there, of course, obviously the points, but how about the rebounds? A double-double for Landry Fields. Got the 10 rebounds and a big scoring afternoon.
Well, he's got 20 points right now. And that pass from Brockman goes off the hands of Detman, and Stanford will have possession, trailing by 6.
I think the sixth man may be getting into Washington a little bit.
Well, really?
They've made some turnovers they don't normally make in the last 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, Stanford right back in the game now. No rush. You're the Cardinal. Fields would be a good guy to go to. I mean, he's really been a hot player for him.
And Detman makes the steal just off the hands of Goods. Detman pulls up, can't get it to go. Brockman follow, no. And finally the rebound down to Hill. Outlet quickly ahead to Fields. Fields to the cutting. Owens for the score.
Wow! Did you see? A 2-on. How about Josh Owens?
And now listen to the crowd. 4-point game.
How about bringing the house down with that one?
Pondexter going to back it out. Fields right in his pocket. Now it's Thomas.
Got to keep your poise now if you're Washington. Be under control.
Thomas all the way, got in the air, couldn't do anything with it, but it's run down by Gant. He throws it up, an air ball. He had to shoot it because the clock was running down. Rebound still batted around, finally controlled by Brockman, but there's a foul call. And we'll take a timeout. Look at that finish from Josh Owens off the pass from Landry Fields. 4-point ball game. Washington over Stanford 64-60. Stanford has been on a 19-8 run over the last 7 minutes. Landry Fields has made 7 of those 19 points. Pondexter gets them both.
Big game for Quincy Pondexter. Good job again at the offensive end to get multiple efforts at the offensive end. Really helps the Huskies.
Remember, the Huskies trying to get only their 2nd win here at Naples in the last 16 years. Will Paul got a little far under, but did draw the foul.
That's incredible that their last win here was 1993.
Barry Bonds' first year with the San Francisco Giants.
Okay, well, that puts it all in perspective. Lorenzo Romar said, you know, his team's aware of it. They've talked about it, but you got to come out and play.
And Will Paul misses.
Yeah, the Cardinals, they've left some points at the line, no doubt about it. They've got to concentrate here and do a better job of knocking down free throws late in the game if they expect to come back in this one.
1 for 2. Makes it a 5-point ball game. Stanford is 9 of 17 at the free throw line. Normally we'll shoot it better than that. And again, nice save by Thomas.
Well, a great job by Mitch Johnson to keep the ball out of Isaiah Thomas's hands. That's what you're trying to do. You don't want Thomas to handle it late.
Pondexter with
might take a
5 on the shot clock.
Take a timeout. You've got a timeout.
Yep, and they did take it. It's a 30-second timeout. We'll take a timeout as well. We're coming back. 66 Washington, 61 Stanford, 2:37 remaining to be played. And Washington will have 4 seconds to get a shot up here.
Yeah, you look at that reset, Barry, and the timeouts. The Huskies only have 1 left. And the Cardinal with 4 double bonus situation for Stanford. So now you only got 4 seconds left. Really important to get right up on them if you're the Cardinal.
And that was about the worst thing could have happened for Lorenzo Romar's team. They call a timeout. I'm sure he drew up something to get a quick shot off, and inbounds pass goes untouched. So the Cardinal trailing by 5 with the ball.
Yeah, obviously a huge possession right here for Stanford. Try to run that high screen and roll. I think here's your go-to guy right here, Landry Fields. How about it?
He makes him pay. He has done it all for the Cardinal. If they don't win this game, it's not going to be because of Landry Fields. And now Johnny Dawkins wants a timeout. Huskies lead it by 3 with the ball. We'll be back. Two minutes, 16 seconds remaining in the ball game, and the Huskies lead it by 3. They'll have the basketball. Last time Stanford led, it was back at 25-23 with 7 minutes to go in the first half. And Landry Fields has been the difference maker.
Yeah, he's been all over the floor, and of course Landry Fields just made that big goal right on the sideline. A good job to get him the ball. Look at the numbers on Landry Fields. The impressive thing, 10 rebounds, 10 of 13 from the field for Landry Fields. And now let's see what Washington does coming out man-to-man, of course, by the Cardinal. And their man-to-man defense the last 8 minutes has really been spectacular.
Thomas penetrates, and how did he do that?
Well, he does it because of his strength and able to bring it back with the left hand. That's what the great ones do. They will get you a basket when you need it.
We told you about Isaiah Thomas. Here's Landry Fields on the turnaround. This time he's short. Great rebound by Lawrence Hill. Mitch Johnson for 3. This is everything. And Brockman will let it go out of bounds. Big sequence right there.
Well, you get a great look here of the dynamic Isaiah Thomas. Head up, under control, and you're right, Barry. How does he finish those plays? But he seems to find a way to get it down. That's why he's a double threat. I mean, he can score on the perimeter, but he can bounce it and get by you, and when he's in the lane, he can finalize.
Here's Vanoy Overton.
I think you back it out. I'd give it back to Isaiah if you get him the ball. Mitch Johnson trying to keep it away from him. Mitch Johnson going to face guard Isaiah Thomas and see if Thomas, oh, he got it now.
Yeah, he came to the ball, and we're going to get a foul under the basket. Going to call this foul on Green. And it'll put Overton at the line. Still a 1-on-1 situation.
Ninth team foul. So, but Vanoy Overton's about a 77% free throw shooter. And of course, that's why Lorenzo Romar misses that, but Brockman gets the rebound. That's a big rebound, huge. But that's why Lorenzo Romar's going with the 3 guards. He's got his 3 little guys in the game to handle the ball, to draw fouls, get them to the foul line, and he's sacrificing a little bit of rebounding for ball control, which is smart at the end of the game.
And they got Green on the foul again. And a timeout on the floor again. Green fouls out of the game and is the first Stanford player this year to foul out of a game. Still was productive, I thought.
Yeah, I thought Green did a good job.
Kenny Brown's going to come back to replace him.
One thing you could say about Jeremy Green when he comes in the game, he's a very good standstill jump shooter. If you give him room, of course, he's a leaper and he's going to get up there, but he can shoot the J from long range. And the one area that all the coaches say, you got to work on that D, move his feet. And here's Denton. Now, Denton hasn't played a whole lot of minutes because of the 4 fouls.
He's an excellent free throw shooter, though. Incidentally, when Green fouled out, that was the only team in the country that had not had a player foul out of a game. So that streak's over.
Now, very important, if you get a miss here, you can't let Brockman come back up with that rebound and get Brockman when he's in the lane, he just pushes everybody out of bounds. That's why he gets so many offensive rebounds.
So now, time of the essence here for the Cardinal. Goods with a good look for three, and it won't go. And Overton with the rebound.
Got to take a foul here. You cannot allow, in my opinion, Washington to run the whole 35. If you're the Huskies, back it out. You're not looking to, they're not going to foul. You got to back it out and use the whole 35 seconds. Got a 5 count on you here. That's a good move. Very solid. You got to foul. Now they foul. No, they're trying to. They can't catch him.
Well, the crowd wanted a traveling violation, and Overton takes it all the way to the basket. That is big time, and that could be the deal. Overton has 9 points, but what a productive 9 points.
Yeah, that could have put it in the cooler right there. I mean, that move. I thought if you're going to foul them, you got to get them right away. But once you allow the Huskies to run the clock, now Benoit Overton's thinking, hey, I might be able to take this all the way in the last 10 seconds and make a shot. So the guard play, sensational this afternoon for the Huskies. And then they're going to get a break, and now back it out.
They're going to get Landry Fields on the foul. So Huskies finishing with a flourish. They're on a 6-0 run over the last minute and a half now after Stanford pulled within 3 and got the crowd really involved. Now the crowd headed for the exits here.
I thought Stanford showed a lot of courage to come back. They did a good job to make some open shots. They just couldn't finish the deal. And that's because Washington's a very good team. I mean, this is a heck of a basketball team, and getting better and better as the year go on. They had the blowout loss, remember, to Kansas, and then they came back and started to play better and better right after that. That was early in the year, and they get the win, of course, against USC and UCLA. Now, next 5 of 7 for the Huskies, Barry, at home. Yeah. And they've only lost 1 game at home, and that was a triple overtime loss to California. So the Huskies are for real.
Now they're playing really well right now, and better as the season goes on. Again, Landry Fields comes up short, and Brockman pulls the rebound down.
Well, since 1993, they have not won a game here on this floor. Well, that streak is over.
Now this is very convincing, and I think they beat a good team in doing it. Johnny Dawkins has no reason to hang his head. I think the Huskies are a good team that's getting better. 15 straight at Maples. We talked about that. Only 1 of the last 22 here at Maples. And that will come off the books. Big game for Overton.
Yeah, I thought Overton was really the unsung hero of this game. Don't forget, he had to play major minutes when Denman picked up the fouls, and Overton really responded, as he normally does.
Remember, too, we told you at the very beginning about Stanford's turnovers. When they turn it over fewer times, they win. When they turn it over more times than their opponent, they lose. Well, that has held forth once again. Stanford turned it over more times than the Huskies, and the Huskies are going to win the game.
Well, remember, Stanford had those 11 turnovers in the first half, Barry. They made a courageous effort to come back, but and Hill gets that long-range shot. But Stanford just could not contain the perimeter game of the Huskies. And I thought the Huskies got some great play. Brian Amity came in and gave them some big scores in the second half. And, of course, the guard play with Isaiah Thomas. Well, you said Isaiah Thomas, he's only had a few points in the first half. He always ends up with a bundle. Did a good job.
Wound up with 17 after having just 4 in the first half. And he's the real deal, but I think this team is the real deal. They got a lot of role players, and then they have the guys like Brockman, who does everything well, and Thomas, who, again, I'm not going to get off what I said earlier, is, in my opinion, the freshman of the year in the Pac-10 Conference. In fact, some people feel the player of the year in the Pac-10 Conference. I'm not sure that will happen. I kind of like that Harden kid at ASU.